I was asked a question by a single person, and I'd like to answer that question. This person asks, please, is it sin for Catholic to fall in love and marry someone that is not a Catholic? Because I've been waiting for my own fellow Catholic. I pray he will come one day. So the short answer is no. It is absolutely not a sin to fall in love with and marry a non-Catholic. It is, however, exponentially more difficult than it would be if you were both Catholic. The Bible talks about being equally yoked, and this is what they're referring to. Now, in social science research, marriage research, things I've done, the word for it is religious homogamy. What that means is, and when God says be equally yoked, marriage is easier if two atheists marry, or two Buddhists, or two Muslims, or two Catholics, or two Protestants. So that is when you're not marrying someone of your own religion, it's called disparity of cult. And it makes it more difficult because, well, let me read what the Catechism says, and that will help me to explain it to you. So, Catechism of the Catholic Church, it is number 1633. It says, on mixed marriages and disparity of cult, 1633 says, in many countries, the situation of a mixed marriage between a Catholic and a baptized non-Catholic, often arises. It requires particular attention on the part of the couples and their pastors. A case of marriage with disparity of cult between a Catholic and a non-baptized person, so one is a baptized non-Catholic, one is a non-baptized person, requires even greater circumspection. So 1634 goes on to say, difference of confession between the spouses does not constitute an insurmountable obstacle for marriage when they succeed in placing in common what they have received from the respective communities and learn from each other the way in which each lives in fidelity to Christ. But the difficulties of mixed marriages must not be underestimated. They arise from the fact that the separation of Christians has not yet been overcome, and what they're referring to is the schism of all the Protestant sects out there. It just shows that we need to be united. The spouses risk experiencing the tragedy of Christian disunity even in the heart of their own home. Disparity of cult can further aggravate those difficulties. Differences about faith and the very notion of marriage, but also different religious mentalities can become sources of tension in marriage, especially as regards the education of children. The temptation to religious indifference can also then arise. So that's very important because it does address the time that this usually comes up is when we have children. See, we're really selfish when we first get married. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. It's okay, I still love you. But once your love comes together and creates a whole new human being, a product of your love, and you both are responsible to raising that child or those children in the ways of God, that's when this arises. Are we going to raise them Catholic? Are we going to raise them Protestant? Are we going to tell them about God at all? What if I want to put them in Catholic school and you don't? I mean, there are tons of problems that happen here, tons of questions. This even happens in marriages where you both started out nominally, Catholic, and one becomes stronger in his or her faith, or you both start out Protestant and one converts to Catholicism. And it's like, well, you've changed, or I don't. So you're not going to be able to get away from all the problems and difficulties that is life and that is marriage. But I would encourage you to consider that before you enter into this relationship, knowing that you are automatically creating a situation where a difficulty will arise. And marriage is hard enough. So if that's a chance you want to take, I say, have that conversation with your fiance, boyfriend, girlfriend. And if at all possible, get an agreement from him or her in advance how you're going to raise your children, which religion. And again, that can change even if you both say, yep, we're going to raise the kids Catholic. And then Life happens and one of you changes, one of you falls away from the church. But you'll deal with that when that happens, because you're going to have to deal with something. But I hope this answers your question. Now go out and date. Find someone that loves the Lord, wants to serve him or her with his whole heart and soul. But if you don't, be content in your vocation of singleness. I'll do a video on that one next. God bless. I'm Dr. Christine Bacon. Thanks for watching Breakfast with Bacon. And remember always to live your life sunny side up.